Video C4, more on interpreting elasticity. Remember that elasticity is just the flexibility in the quantity demanded or supplied in response to price changes. In our earlier example, price increases from 70 to 80 with the result that purchases decline from 28 to 2,600 units. This is just the example from the textbook and the homework. The result of this is that we can see going from points B to C that there's a change in price of 10, a change in quantity of 10, but the elasticity is not 1 because the average price is 75 and the average is quantity is 2,700. We have to use these averages in order to calculate or find the relative changes in the quantity and prices, which we use in finding elasticities. We can also look at a different change in price on this demand curve, say from 100 to 110, and again, we could then find the price elasticity of demand by looking at the change in price divided by the average of that price, and then the change in the quantity divided by the average quantity. Why does elasticity differ between different goods? For example, with some goods, when the price goes up, we cut back very little on our purchases, while with other goods, when the price goes up, we almost stop buying them at all. Let's visualize two demand curves, D sub A and D sub B. Focusing just on the point where they intersect, the price and quantity are the same, but the response to a change in price would be different, with obviously a greater change in the quantity purchased with D sub A compared to D sub B, meaning that A is going to be an elastic demand relative to B, which has a relatively inelastic price elasticity. Now back to why the demand for some goods is elastic relative to others where it's inelastic. First, we should consider discretionary or luxury purchases versus necessities. For example, a second bathroom sink versus the first bathroom sink, which we would all consider a necessity. Second, we might consider the definition of the market itself. A narrow market definition, like Cheerios versus cereal, will lead to an inelastic demand for cereal versus a much more elastic demand for Cheerios, for example. Now let's think about the long run versus the short run. Think about your use of gas. In the long run, if the price of gas gets expensive, you'll think about getting a more efficient car, and that would allow you to be more flexible in your response to price increases. But in the short run, you're stuck with the car you have, and you're not going to have very much ability to change the amount of gas that you use.